Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're breaking down the 5 steps toward wealth. We're talking about the exact step-by-step architectural blueprint for building a completely bulletproof financial foundation. This isn't about chasing the next shiny stock tip or crypto craze. It's about constructing wealth in the precise, proven order that actually works.
Think about it like this: a leaky bucket. Imagine you're standing out in a field, pouring your life's energy and hard-earned cash into this bucket, and you're calling it investing. You're watching the water level rise, just dreaming of the day it finally overflows. But you aren't looking at the bottom. There are these massive, jagged holes where your progress is literally leaking straight back into the dirt. We pour so much energy into the top, completely ignoring the massive leaks at the bottom.
And that leads to this incredibly common, stressful scenario. Lying awake at 3 a.m., just consumed by financial anxiety. It's such an easy trap to fall into, right? Throwing money at the stock market like you're feeding coins into a slot machine, hoping for a jackpot, while simultaneously being eaten alive by 22% credit card debt. That debt is the massive hole in your bucket. It's kind of absurd to ask if you should buy the next big tech stock while the transmission is practically falling out of your financial car. So today, we fix the leaks.
To do that, we are going to follow this specific sequence. First, the psychological shield. Second, extinguish the fire. Third, the free lunch. Fourth, tax optimization. And finally, the triple tax advantage.
All right, step 1, the psychological shield, establishing your emergency fund. When you look at the sheer scale of financial vulnerability out there, it's wild. According to recent data, a staggering 33%, that's 1 in 3 Americans, completely lacks this fundamental financial shield. Listen, before you even think about buying a single share of anything, you have got to establish the safety net. It's the only thing that prevents you from panic selling your investments during a crisis. And right now, a third of the country has absolutely nothing standing between them and disaster.
And for those who do have a little something stashed away, the median amount Americans have saved is a mere $500. Just think about that for a second. $500 won't even cover most monthly car payments these days, let alone a real drop-everything emergency.
So the immediate goal here is to fill up that piggy bank, and do it fast. You want to save your first $1,000 as quickly as humanly possible, and then build that up to a full month of expenses. Now, you might think an emergency fund is boring, just cash sitting there doing nothing. But Vanguard actually did some research on this. They found that people with just $2,000 in the bank had financial well-being scores 21% higher than those without it. That $2,000 isn't necessarily life-changing money, but the psychological relief of having it, that was the single largest boost to financial happiness they measured. It's a game changer.
Okay, your shield is up. You can finally sleep at night. But how do we put out the fire that's already burning inside the house? Where should your money go next?
That brings us to step 2, extinguish the fire, killing high-interest debt.
Listen, any debt you carry with an interest rate over 8% is basically a financial cancer, and it absolutely must be eradicated before you try to build wealth. The mathematical reality here is stark. People will stress themselves out trying to pick the perfect stock to hopefully squeeze out an 8% return, all while paying 22% on their credit cards. That makes no sense. Credit card debt grows so much faster than almost any investment return you could ever hope to make. Paying off a 22% credit card is a guaranteed 22% return on your money. Honestly, even Warren Buffett doesn't get a guaranteed 22% return.
Let's put the heavy cost of just coasting along into perspective. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt and you're only making the minimum payments, you're going to bleed nearly $2,800 in interest over 5 years. That is thousands of dollars completely wasted, flushed away. To fight this, you've got to use the debt avalanche method. You pay the minimums on everything else, and you throw every single spare cent you have at the debt with the highest interest rate. You got to take those heavy rocks out of your backpack.
Moving right along to step 3, the free lunch, grabbing your employer match.
Now listen closely to this part, because this is the one and only exception where you actually pause your high-interest debt repayment to seize an opportunity. An employer match is literally the only true free lunch in the entire financial world. It is a 100% guaranteed return on your money right out of the gate. For example, if you earn $50,000 a year and your employer matches up to 6%, that is $1,500 of free money just lying there on the ground waiting for you to pick it up. Even if you're drowning in debt at 22%, you do not walk past a 100% return. So contribute just enough to get that match and then get right back to killing the debt.
All right, the match is secured. The high-interest debt is finally dead and gone. Let's see how this momentum builds.
because now we are confidently stepping out of the mud and into what we call the tax optimization zone. We're officially transitioning from playing defense to playing offense.
Which is step 4, tax optimization, navigating IRAs.
So many people skip this step and go straight for the shiny, exciting stock picks. But doing that is like building your house on quicksand. You want an individual retirement account, an IRA, because honestly, your employer's 401k is often full of termites. I'm talking about those sneaky 1 to 2% management fees that slowly eat away at your wealth from the inside out over decades. An IRA gives you the control to pick low-cost funds and actually shield your wealth. And once you open that IRA, you have a critical choice to make: traditional or Roth. Basically, do you want to pay the IRS now or later? If you're young or currently in a lower tax bracket, the Roth IRA is your best friend. You pay taxes up front, and then your investments grow tax-free forever. But if you're in your peak earning years and sitting in a high tax bracket, you might actually prefer the traditional IRA so you can take that nice tax break right now. Okay, so we have the IRAs optimized, but what if I told you there is an ultimate financial secret weapon that the vast majority of people completely ignore? I mean, what is the single most powerful investment vehicle in America?
That brings us to our final step. Step 5, the triple tax advantage, unlocking the HSA. The health savings account isn't just some standard run-of-the-mill account. It is a full-blown financial Swiss Army knife. It is literally the only account in existence that hits the IRS with tax breaks in 3 separate ways. Let's break it down. First, you get a tax deduction when you put the money in. Second, that money grows completely tax-free. And third, and guys, this is the absolute kicker here, withdrawals from medical expenses are completely tax-free.
And here's the absolute pro strategy that makes this thing so insanely powerful. If you can afford it, pay for your current doctor visits out of pocket right now. Just keep the receipts. Let the money in your HSA sit there and compound in the market for decades. To put this in perspective, the average couple will need around $300,000 just for healthcare and retirement. By letting that HSA grow, you can reimburse yourself tax-free 2 decades from now for those old receipts, effectively making that massive future cost completely disappear. It is incredible.
It's only after you've maxed out all these tax-advantaged tools that you should even look at the wild west of regular taxable brokerage accounts. Why? Because jumping into taxable accounts too early creates what we call tax drag. Let's look at the math. Over 30 years, if you invest $10,000 a year in the correct tax-free order, you can get yourself to about $944,000. Doing it in the wrong order, like straight into a taxable account, leaves you with maybe $700,000. That is a devastating $250,000 penalty just for doing things in the wrong sequence. Order matters.
So here it is, your ultimate architectural blueprint from top to bottom. First, the emergency fund. Then, destroy that high-interest debt. Grab the employer match. Optimize the IRA. Max out the HSA. Finish off your remaining 401k, and only then hit the taxable account. Strictly following this exact sequential order immediately places you in the top 5% of savers. You are no longer just randomly throwing money around hoping something sticks. You are a strategic architect of your own wealth. I'll leave you with this final thought. Your future self is waiting for you at the end of this path. So, will you build a foundation that truly lasts, or will you skip ahead, chase the shiny objects, and watch your sandcastle wash away with the tide? Do the boring foundational steps right now so your future self can actually live the life you're just dreaming of today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, get to building.